Hello everyone, thank you so much for clicking on yet another episode of Pages from My Notebook, a True to Life podcast. My name is Erica, I'm your host, and today we're reflecting. What else do we do? What else is the purpose of me sitting here and talking to myself? Another school year has come to a close. I have now fully completed my third year in college. What? I feel like every time I think about this, I'm more and more shocked that I've made it. And watching so many people I know graduate, which is crazy, it's like, can y'all come pick me up? I want to go too. But also, I'm realizing I'm in this very special, transformative period of my life where it's the beginning, but also the end of so many different chapters and experiences and just events and things that I can experience that will shape how I live the next section of my life. So this week I'm just going to talk about my junior year, what I've learned, and just what I've been thinking about in terms of moving on and also enjoying where you're at. So if you can relate to that, just keep on listening. As I said in the intro, today's episode is about nearing the finish line, feeling like you're almost there, word to Princess Tiana, but you're not. And that's also the great thing about it, is that you still have time to experience all the things that you want to. And when I think about my journey in college and how I've made it this far and not thinking I would make it this far, I flip between being so excited at all of the possibilities that are ahead of me and wanting to jump forward to them, but also being scared as hell of leaving this final trial period of adulthood. Because first of all, when you really think about it, college is just high school with more alcohol and like loans. It's not really that different when you think about the academic and social environment. Yes, you learn how to live by yourself with others, transportation, learning a new city if you've moved away. Even if you stayed at home, your city can be kind of different once you navigate it as an independent person. But college really was like high school, especially getting into different social groups. People have their friend groups. There are people that are known for being athletes, people that are known for being Greek, people that are popular, people that you never see, the really militant people. And there's all these different cliques, and you can still get caught up in these labels of what your identity is and your friend group is. And I really want to do a whole episode about that, but about the Black University of Pittsburgh experience specifically, because I've seen some things, but I also haven't seen enough things. So I want to give a guide to someone like me who is out there but isn't all the way out there and doesn't know everything that's going on. And this is sort of a tangent because like the social life aspect wasn't or isn't on my outline, but part of that unease and excitement is this is my last year, like I mentioned before, within this safety thing of being within this environment with people that I know. Just like high school, you see the same people every day. And when life was regular, you would see the same people walking around campus or the same people at club meetings. And you still do that over Zoom, of course. But this is really a time that I can foster those relationships and have them outside of college. Or I can meet new people that I didn't know exist. Even though the university is like 3% Black, I still see new Negroes every single time I go outside or every time I go somewhere else. And I think that's really cool that that opportunity is still there after 3 years. Of course, new people come in every year, but people that are in my year or entered the university the same year as me that I never knew existed. And I think that's really cool, thinking about all the new opportunities for friendships and relationships that I have, given that I still have another year and there are so many people who are on their own journeys and were in other areas and building themselves up and now maybe our paths will cross to create friendships. And I think that's a really cool thing. And this also speaks to the sheer potential of what you can do. Speaking about Pitt specifically, every day, every new class, I meet somebody with a major I didn't know that we had, or I meet somebody who's in clubs that I didn't know existed. And it's so nerve-wracking but amazing that your life can be shaped by anything. There is literally nothing that you can't do. There's literally nothing that's like not available to you to start if it doesn't already exist in an organized capacity. But there's always people that relate to you on some level. There's always going to be someone who has the same hobby as you, who loves the same TV shows, the same music, has the same passions. And I think that's really awesome. And in the real world, it's harder to find that because there aren't as many organized clubs for people to join that aren't unified by a status such as being a university student. And with these opportunities to learn who you are and create the person that you're meant to be, this concept of being in your prime has really been on my mind. Everyone says college is the best 4 years of your life. The best years, you're the youngest, you're the hottest, you're the healthiest. You can be wild and fuck up, and you're expected to, and you're supposed to have so much fun with that grace that you're extended. And I think academically, when you think about the jump from junior to senior year, it's like, okay, the first 2.5 years, like you can mess around, change things around, and get your life together. But senior year, this is literally your last chance, opportunity, and your requirement to be this quote unquote fully formed, fully fledged version of yourself that you came into the university with. And being a senior, I don't know, I feel that expectation, maybe I'm putting it on myself, and I probably am, knowing how much I overthink everything. But there's this new expectation of knowledge. You're supposed to have learned and internalized everything that you've experienced to be a better you, and you're just supposed to be a more capable version of yourself. It's very limiting because you are still in school. You are still a student. One of the things I admire so much about my grandmother is that she has always been a student of life. And as every day that you live, you learn something new about yourself, something about the world around you, the environment around you, the people around you. And to think that your senior year has to be the year that there are no more questions, you're completely solid in your friendships, your relationships, your academic work, your employment, everything it's the same shit that we do to high school seniors in like figuring out what you want to major in, what college you want to go to, because that determines so much of what your life is going to turn out like. And so this pressure can be unfair. But on the flip side, as a person who's been through so many monumental changes, you would hope that you come out of it a little bit of a better person than you entered. You would hope that at this point you feel confident in your abilities and who you are as a person. And with this, I feel like I have done that in a lot of ways, and in some ways I haven't. And I feel like I still have room to grow, and there are still opportunities that I haven't taken advantage of that will help me. But the funniest thing about that is realizing that the you that you are now is the future self that your past self was dreaming about becoming. How about that? The me that was sitting in high school wondering about what college I would go to, who I would meet, what I would major in, is me now. Like, I'm in my future. That's wild to me. Something about that is so crazy. And it's a universal human experience. We always want what's ahead, what's next. And we don't realize that our present is the future that we worked for and that we dreamed of. And so to not appreciate our present, no matter what it may be like, and if it includes things that we had no way of fathoming what happened to us, it is still such I don't know the word, humbling, maybe that's what comes to mind, but I'm not sure. It's such a special thing to realize that you are the future that you worked for and you dreamed of. So you need to enjoy it because that's what your past self was looking forward to so much. While reflecting on enjoying the present versus being excited for the future, I wanted to talk about the concept of possibility, and that especially in college, you go to college to expand the possibilities of what your life can be. You go to expand your mind, you go to expand your culture, you go to expand your earning potential in your professional life. And like I mentioned before, there's so many things you can do, like even just at my university specifically, but when you think about the vast possibility of what your entire life can be, again, that is so exciting, but also the scariest thing that I could ever think of. And it's amplified because we are given these opportunities to make these decisions, these major decisions, during a time where, like I mentioned before, we're supposed to be messing up, but we're supposed to be making the mistakes. It's so funny because that's both a blessing and a curse. When you're young, you have the time to establish the healthy habits, the breaking generational curses, really shaping the life that you want to have, and you have more time to figure it out and to actually live and enjoy it. But also, if you're anything like me, who's been a responsible person, very responsible kid your entire life, you have always felt this pressure to be preparing for adulthood, preparing for the next thing. And one, messing up is really not an option because you have to be the example. You are the smart one. You're the one that made it out, like Nina in the Heights. And we know that she got to Stanford and she dropped out because she couldn't take it. Because the whole barrio was expecting her to be this fantastic example of academic excellence and the one who made it out of the ghetto. But she got there after being responsible and working hard her entire life and realizing, wow, I've never had the freedom to make a mistake, because making a mistake means that the rest of my life is altered. If you've never seen In the Heights, you need to go listen to it. Watch the movie that's coming out. But I really, in this moment, I'm Nina. Wow. Sorry, y'all, if you're not Broadway people and that reference is lost on you. But that just reminded me about how this is the time we're supposed to make mistakes and mess up and fail and fall and get mud on our face and learn and embarrass ourselves. For a lot of us who come from backgrounds where failure isn't an option, the pressure just becomes too much when now we're on our own and we've never been able to have the experience of being supported in our failures at a lower stake. As I mentioned in past episodes, my freshman year was really bad. I completely flopped, was overwhelmed, depressed, sick, everything. And that was a $10,000 mistake. I lost a lot of things. I lost a lot of time, most importantly, but also money. And that experience, while not anything I could have ever expected or prepared myself for, really made me reflect and say, okay, I am no longer the girl who is known as the smart one. Here, nobody knows me at all. And now that I've lost everything that I held on to that was given to me and attached to me by other people and the environment and the expectations I had placed on me, now in this environment where it's just me and the old ways have failed me, all I can do is learn to be myself. All I can do is give myself grace for not knowing how to live an experience I have never experienced. You can't beat yourself up for not knowing what you didn't know. And I kind of want to circle back now to the idea that I introduced, that college is just high school with loans and alcohol, in that we still have this spirit of comparison, that we are in this bubble, essentially, of people our age who are all striving towards the same goal of getting a degree, of bettering their lives for the most part. And with the independence that you're granted, that juxtaposition and that fight between, okay, this is my time to be who I want to be and do things that I wasn't able to do on my own before, but still being in the same environment that breeds comparison and sometimes competition, it's very exhausting. Yes, now that you're in college, you can do literally whatever you want. You don't have to go to class if you don't want to. We are still influenced by collective efficacy. If everyone on your floor shares the same major and they're all going to the same class, you're going to want to go to class too, not only to do well in school, but to create those relationships with your peers. Same goes for social life. That's really the biggest arena where I can see this because my major is smaller and I've never been in the environment with that many other people who share it. And it's like everyone's going to this party, so maybe I should do it too. Everyone's trying this, whatever, maybe I should do it too. We're still faced with this like peer pressure. Oh, what if they don't like me if I don't do this? What if I don't fit in if I don't go here, but I really don't want to? And giving people that time and that space to figure out their boundaries, I think, is also a really important thing. And that's the thing that adults don't figure out. They let people still walk all over them and make them do things they don't want to do. But in this college environment, while you're figuring yourself out and all of these other things, it's very, very difficult to juggle everything. And that's why we get so stressed out with school and social life and trying to experience everything, but still not giving ourselves enough time to really sit with ourselves and ask, what do we want? And then how can I incorporate that within my environment as a whole? It's so crazy to me when I sit down and think about it. I think of my college experience as like not a trilogy because there's 4 chapters, a whatever phrase, if there's like 4 movies in a sequence. And looking at it, I've gone from my rock bottom in every area and like being the most insecure in figuring out who I am to probably the most confident I've ever been within a span of 3 years, going from 18 to 21 at the time I'm recording this. And that is such a roller coaster of personal growth, let alone academic performance and achievement, because that's been its own journey within itself. And especially within the Pitt environment, like I said, there's so many things you can do and so many different people doing so many different things, but also people doing a lot of the same things. And that's how they become popular. But more specifically in the academic realm, it's like there are so many honor societies I can't keep track of. There's so many awards, so many scholarships, so many fellowships, so many grants, so many ambassador programs. You start to think, what am I doing here? What made me as deserving of this space as everybody else? How have I not been using my time as well as these people? How have I not been earning and achieving all these different positions? Am I not doing enough? Am I just behind in terms of development so I can't handle these opportunities and they're not being presented to me? Am I making an impact in as big of a way as I wanted to, or that I actually can be? And that's where comparison gets you, because it's great to be surrounded by people who are doing great things, right? Because that's how we inspire people. That's why representation is so important. That's why so many people are driven to get the degrees and enter the fields that they're entering, because they saw somebody like that when they were younger to show them that it was possible too. But in this time in your 20s, and especially junior year, getting into finishing up your degree programs, doing research, all of these things, it's like, have I really looked at my life goals and are they lofty enough? Am I going to actually make the impact that I wanted to make, or am I just going to live a regular life that doesn't really mean anything in the long term? And that's kind of deep, but like I mentioned, watching people graduate and their long list of accomplishments, it's like, damn, compared to that, I feel like I haven't done anything. And that can really get you down if you are a person that doesn't give yourself your flowers, that doesn't pat yourself on the back, that doesn't recognize the immense growth that you've been through. I want to say that the wins are important, but so are the failures. The failures are what teaches you how to be better in the long term. And I feel that nobody likes to talk about them. People in their graduation speeches, like, it was hard, all of the tears and the long nights, but here are my 36 internship fellows and awards and organizations and clubs. It's like, well, wait, hold on. because I'm struggling and I'm crying a lot too, but I'm not also accomplishing these other things. So am I less of an accomplished person? Where is the disconnect between these things? A big lesson I've learned is that the internet, especially because as with social anxiety and my journey overcoming that, the internet has been a great tool in me meeting different people and learning about different people and all the different things that are available to me. But everyone is just posting what they want to post, and that's fine. You can curate your space to show your accomplishments, because that's also a good part, is learning how to brag on yourself and saying, yes, I am capable. These are all of the things. And not everyone is entitled to your entire story. Not everyone needs to know about all your hardships. But for me, being the kid that never really failed, and then now getting here and experiencing that and never hearing anybody else fail too, it's like, damn, it's just me out here being like the worst of the worst. And so for me, it's healing to share my experiences and my good things and my failures, because this is what me of the past needed. And little high school me is so proud of me for just simply being able to sit here and talk and share about this and post it for people to see, to not be so caught up in having people think that I'm this perfect example of a leader, academic person, when really I'm a mess a lot of the time. Yes, I do fantastic and great work, but it's also okay for me to not be okay. And I'm not okay a lot of the time. Now, while mentioning the comparison and feeling like you're not doing enough, even when you look at your list of things and you're doing so much, it's remembering that you are always the person that somebody else is looking up to. You are impacting people that pretend not to know you exist, people that you actually don't know exist, that know that you exist, just you existing as you are and showing up in the places that you show up and the work that you put forward. Somebody is thinking that they're not doing enough compared to you as well. And that's not to say that that's a good thing, that you're better than anybody else, but it's that don't feel like you aren't doing enough compared to somebody else. Because everybody's journey is different. Everyone's perception of what is good, enough, too much, not enough for them is different. So don't get down comparing yourself to somebody else, because there's somebody out there wishing they had the spot that you have. And that goes into giving ourselves our flowers and realizing that it's okay to stay in our very own lane. If you want to change something and improve something, you can do it. This time in your life is to learn. It's to shape your brain. You're not supposed to remain the same person that your parents wanted you to be. You're not supposed to remain in the same mindset that you were born into from, or that you were taught from your public school system. Your entire belief systems can change, from your diet to your religion to your dating style, whatever it is. Allow yourself the time to accept that what you know may not still be correct for you. And that's okay. It's okay to not live up to everyone else's expectations of what you want. And if you discover that a certain thing or a person or environment is better or worse for you compared to what you've known, this is the time to figure that out. This is the time to say, yes, I like this. Yes, I don't like this. I want to keep this from my childhood. I want to modify this. And I want to completely shake up this area of my life. And it's okay for those new revelations to change as well. The only constant in college is change and learning and growth. And that is why you're here. Remember to extend yourself grace for changing. It's okay to change and change again, maybe change back, and then completely change different directions. Everything is up for critique. Nobody comes into this perfect. That's not the point. And nobody comes out of it perfect. The point is not to graduate as this person that knows everything and that's it. It's to have a growth mindset, especially at this university, which is based in science and research, and people, they do get like into their hard facts. This is what I know. blah, blah, blah. But in the social sciences, the realm that I'm in, the conversations that people younger than me, 18, 19, 17, are having is crazy. And I wish I had the range to have these kind of conversations about life experiences and all the different things that I overhear in my classes and things like that. And people, this college environment is so accepting of change, and it's literally saying, we're going to take you as you are and show you what you can be, and for you to discover what you want to be. And if that's different than your friend group, that's fine. If that's different from other people in your major, from your family, that's okay. That is the point. So if you fall while discovering who you are and trying and changing different things, that's the point. That is what's going to get you further to the person that you're meant to be. Hey y'all, whether you're an avid listener already or want to make your own podcast like me, Anchor is the easiest way to get started. Let me tell you about it. It's free. You can record and edit your podcast directly from your phone or computer. Anchor will do all the heavy lifting and distribute your podcast for you to major platforms such as Spotify and Apple Podcasts. You can even make money from your podcast. Yes, you can secure the bag with no minimum listenership. It's everything you need to make a podcast all in one place. Download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started. In this next section, I just wanted to reflect about how this time in college has been the fastest 3 years I've ever experienced as a whole. But when I think about the days and the months, they're the longest. Every day, I don't have enough hours in the day, but also they're so extremely long. And I'm just so tired of all the growth and learning and change and expectations and things that I have to do within this entire journey of school and personal growth and friendships and all of these things. And there have been a lot of good things, given what I've learned about myself and my boundaries, I guess, or like what I need to feel safe and secure in my body before I can go and expand my circle to other people. It took me time to feel comfortable to like go out to different events and talk to people and actually put myself out there and have fun. And I've learned a lot about myself in that I'm not really a party person, like just going by myself. Like that's not going to be fun for me. I'm not going to go somewhere where I don't have a somewhat closer relationship to the people there. It can look fun going to like huge house parties or whatever, but if I'm going by myself, it's really not a situation that's meant for me, and that's okay. Just because everyone else does it, that's fine. Everyone else enjoys it because everyone else is better friends with each other. I was going to talk about the good separately from the bad, but they kind of intermix because I've had way more lows than highs. That really makes you appreciate the higher moments. It took me time to learn about who I am socially and to get myself together and to not feel anxious going into new situations. And I'm so grateful for the friends I've made and the opportunities I've had to spend time with people and get to know people and have friendships. And I'm very, very grateful and thankful for those people in my life. And it's accepting at this point in 3 years, I have more acquaintances than like truer friends. And that's okay. I'm fine just knowing people and knowing about people and having people know about me and like having people perceive me. Well, I don't know. It's hard because I would say that people are my friends. Like I know people in different areas, but I don't have that many people that I could just call up, you know? Like people are my friends, but we don't talk on a regular basis. That's kind of a weird. Is parasocial the right word for it? I don't know. I've been hearing that word a lot, parasocial relationships. I don't know, but for me, it's been kind of hard accepting going from high school where I had my group of girls like, and we're the tightest ever and still are. Of course, our relationships change and go through different phases as everyone is in different areas of their life and of the country. But it was hard for me going from that such close-knit group to this huge environment where I went through so much personal shit while everybody else was also going through personal stuff, because I can't say that because I don't know, but they were also better, or I guess more equipped or ready to make those close personal friendships, and I wasn't. And part of what I've learned in college looking back is that it's okay to mourn the experiences that I didn't have because I was going through my own shit. It's okay to feel sad that I missed out on some things that looked fun or that I wanted to do, that I didn't have the experience of going with a big group of people to different parties or people to sit with in the dining hall. But now, as an adult, when I've had the time to sit with myself, I realized I probably wouldn't have enjoyed going with a big group of strangers to house parties. I was so incredibly uncomfortable my first semester of college, but especially the days and weeks after moving in. It was just sensory overload. It was just too many new people, too many new things. This isn't my home. Where's my mom? I don't know what to eat. I'm poor. It was just a lot for me, and I'm mourning and accepting that I just wasn't ready to be fully social at that time. It makes me sad. It does, that I felt alone, but that I had to go through that period of adjustment, and there's no way that I could have prepared for it. I felt warning signs in my body, but it just I just wasn't prepared, and that is what it is. And all I can do now is go forward with the time that I have and with the relationships that I was able to form and make them better or more, I don't know, just amplify them and just tell people that I appreciate them and learn more about people and just try. Just try. I am extending myself grace for not knowing that I would need time to adjust to my environment. I thought I would just throw myself in and college would be this great thing. But when I think about it, I've always been a highly anxious person. So to expect that I would just be okay with leaving my door open and having all these different people come in and out of my room and going in these huge groups of people. No, girl, it's not just because you got here, this is your magic moment. I was scared out of my mind. I could not move. I remember just sitting in my dorm room, having this out of body, existential, where am I? What am I doing? This is a huge mistake. Yeah, of course, I wish that wouldn't have happened, or at least not to that extent where I was paralyzed with fear and anxiety, but that's what it was. And it taught me the ultimate lesson of never letting myself go to the point where I don't recognize who I am or how I feel in my body. Wow, that's a really long and deep way of saying I didn't have friends. But that's really what it was. And I had to go through my shit. And we all do. And this is the time to. Like I said, it was not. I went through the shit at the time where now I had to pay for it in so many other things. But now as a junior, I'm living for the girl. Again, I'm in the future that past me knew that I would get to. I'm in the better place that I knew was waiting for me. Did it take me long to get there? Yeah. But I'm here now, and that's where I need to remember to appreciate the present moment of where I'm at. So if I want to be or have more friends, I need to go out and extend an olive branch and form those relationships and talk to people and just do other things and comfortably make myself uncomfortable. That's what I'm learning. I've honored my boundaries. I know what's too much for me, what I don't want to do, and the times and moments where I know that I can turn it on and expand my horizons, put myself in situations that are going to help me grow. Outside of socially, I have also done a lot academically and I guess professionally, leadership-wise. I'm not really sure how to categorize it. But yeah, I've done a lot. I've been given also a lot of opportunities and sought out different things that I never thought I would do. I never thought I'd be essentially an event host. I never thought that I'd be editor-in-chief of a journal. I never thought that I'd start a podcast. I never thought that I'd be on e-board for a club. So many different things that I've done that I don't realize are monumental things, especially for someone who had the experience that I had. Maybe I'm not in a bunch of honor societies. Maybe I don't have a bunch of fellowships or grants or scholarships or huge recognition, but the things I'm doing are meaningful to me, and they're putting me in spaces and places and conversations and in relationships with people that are going to take me places that I want to go or fulfill me in some way. And I think that's really great. And as a kid, like I said, who couldn't afford to mess up and has always been quote unquote good at everything, I view like doing well and accomplishing things as just the standard. Like that's just what you have to do. That's not special. That's what you are expected to do as a person. And in my 3 years, I've learned to give myself the flowers because other people do. Other people are like, wow, that's so crazy. I'm like, yeah, I mean, it's just doing what I'm doing. But when you look at it, these are things that so many people never get the opportunity to experience or to do. And not even just thinking about what other people can't do. I'm doing great things. I've done great things. I've accomplished good things. I picked up my grades. I'm excited about learning. I'm excited to learn again, and my grades reflect that. I'm just learning so much about myself and what I need to feel validated, and that I was never validated in myself. I was always validated by other people, like, oh, here's your gold star, here's your honor roll, here's this, and that. But for me, it was just an expectation. It wasn't an actual, like, good thing I was doing. It's just, all right, this is who you are as a person. And now I'm realizing, yes, I'm good at things, but it's okay to not be good at things. And it's okay to just enjoy things, but also recognize that I am good at things, and that's okay. But those things don't determine the type of person I am. It's just nice to know that I'm a person capable of thoughts and actions, I guess, worthy of recognition by others. But most importantly, I think the relationships and things that I've experienced and learned about myself from doing all the things that I'm doing and meeting people, speaking to people, just existing in the spaces that I exist in is an honor in itself. And I'm so proud of myself for allowing me to put myself in these different situations and to earn these things and to feel good about the good things that I'm doing. So after all this, in 3 years, I've realized that college is a great, monumental, influential part of my life. But in the grand scheme, it is so small in the face of all the greatness that I'm destined for. The things that I'm learning and experiencing now, and anybody in college, it'll take you through the rest of your life, whether that's a good thing you've learned, a skill you've gained, or a boundary that you've set up, and a thing that you know that you shouldn't or other people can't cross with you, what you won't put up with. But there's also lessons that you leave behind, or parts of you that you leave behind. In college, I'm leaving behind the girl who put her self-worth in her grades. I'm leaving behind the girl who thought she was incapable of being loved or being in friendships. I'm leaving behind the girl who was afraid to go places by herself. I'm leaving behind all of these past versions and baggages that I was carrying, all the rocks in my book bag, as I like to say. I'm taking them out. I'm leaving behind the stones. And hopefully through this podcast, through my interactions with other people, leaving footsteps that other people can follow behind me. Yes, everyone's journey is going to be different. And even then, I say all the time, I'm telling these lessons because they're things I wish I knew, but I know I'm also hard-headed and I maybe wouldn't have taken them in to the fullest extent, but that's okay too. You have to learn your learning style and the type of person you are, and you evolve to be a person who can learn from other people. But with all that being said, I wanted to go into some of the things that I've learned and that I'm leaving behind. Number 1 is that my productivity is not a measure of my worth. Yes, I can get good grades, but that doesn't mean I'm any better of a person than somebody who gets straight C's. My interactions with people mean more than a number or a letter on a screen at the registrar. The people and the interactions and just everyday things mean more to me. Making the people that I care about smile, telling them that I love them, giving gifts that I know people enjoy. That speaks to who I am as a person. And being kind and genuine and authentic makes me worthy of all the good things that are coming to me. My work ethic, just my essence, just me being me and accepting the person who I am, whether that's the parts I'm confident in, the parts I'm not, the parts that I'm changing. That's what makes me worthy, not how many essays I can type in a semester, not how many practice problems I can do, not how many sales I can make or assignments I can get done. The next thing I've learned is that I'm capable of amazing things and I deserve to be proud of myself. It's not bragging. I'm not going to get a big head about it. I was born with a big head. It doesn't need to get any bigger. But it's just appreciating myself and remembering that the hard work I'm putting in is worth it. But also, I'm not a machine. I was not created in God's image and given to my parents and put on this earth just to be a cog in the machine, just to be a production of something. I'm getting like on tangents, but basically I'm good at what I want to be good at, and there are things I'm naturally good at. There's things I had to work to be good at, but the bottom line is I'm good at them and I deserve to be proud of myself loudly about it. Next, my social skills have grown exponentially, tremendously, and have helped me establish my personal boundaries. Like I was saying before, I know the times where I can push myself to be a little bit more extroverted, to be a little bit more social, because I know it's an environment that's going to be safe for me and the reward is going to be worth the risk. And there are other times where I know, yeah, I'm good on that. I don't want to do that. I don't want to do drugs. I don't want to do X, Y, and Z. And that's okay for other people to do them. And it's okay for me to separate myself from that environment if I feel that it's not a good place for me. And I think I've gotten really good at conversing with other people. I was about to say conversating, but y'all was going to get on my neck for that. Yeah, I feel like I'm just better at listening and being in conversation with people and kind of remembering things about people and what they like and who they are and what they're doing, and just being, you know, a person capable of good human interactions. Next is that I am so incredibly blessed to have been able to find my educational passion at the same school in the wake of such extreme depression and academic failure. There was a point where I was like, that's it. I've messed up everything I could possibly mess up. I was too big for my britches. I should have stayed at home. I'm not capable of this. I knew this was the wrong thing. I knew I couldn't do it. It was stupid. I should have just stayed in my lane. And that's the depression talking. That's the comparison talking. That's me not giving myself the grace to learn and to realize, hey, it's okay to think you want one thing and to learn that it's not for you. And it's okay to acknowledge that maybe you knew that all along and that you wanted to push past it to get something or to prove something or to still be that girl who is just naturally good and excelled at things. It's okay to acknowledge that and to move on. And for me to for Pitt to even have the urban studies program and for it to be so great and for it to have given me the opportunities it's given me and the foundation to be excited about my career again and reinvigorate why I wanted to go to college in the first place and really hone in on the type of professional I want to be and the impact I want to make while still keeping all of my scholarships and being in a city that I really like that's close enough to home and with the friends I've made. I am very, very lucky. Next, ask for help, bitch. You are not here to do everything on your own. Literally everyone needs help with something. Like even doctors go to other doctors. Therapists have therapists. Nobody here, no matter how many accolades, accomplishments, things they're involved in, has it all together. Ask for help. Your pride will get you burnt out, stressed, and not living in your full potential. So I've learned to ask for help. The fear of looking stupid or not understanding something. Who gives a flying fuck? Nobody else's name or opinion is going to be attached to my degree in like a little comment section. Like, oh, she didn't understand this basic principle. Don't think she deserves this. No, that's not a thing that happens. Ask for help. Use your resources. You are paying thousands of dollars for them. And even if you weren't, you still deserve to have knowledge and to learn things in a way that works for you. Everybody deserves that. Everybody needs help. And lastly, And I think probably mostly that I've learned within these 3 years is that genuine authenticity and your presentation of self is going to attract the right people and things to you. In my time learning about who I am and what I wanted to be, I said, okay, now that I've somehow feel more confident in myself, I want to make friends. I want to have relationships. I want to be involved with the greater community. And for me, like I mentioned earlier, the internet was a really helpful tool in that. I never used to use Instagram stories. And once I started doing that, I started just posting what I wanted, what was genuinely funny to me, what I was doing. And that got people to know me. That got people to, I don't know, perceive me in a way that like I had control over, but was also more me than I had ever been comfortable being in college up until that point. And and that's so, it sounds so funny and kind of like superficial, but the communities that you can create, the things that you can foster, the opportunities that you can get when you are just fully yourself, it's amazing. Yes, you are not going to be for everybody. Of course, there's people that don't like me, and that's fine. You're entitled to your wrong opinion. No, I'm kidding. And vice versa. There are things that I don't agree with. And the beauty is that you can choose. You can choose when to challenge yourself and when to say, you know what? This is just the decision I've come to on this person, place, or thing. And that's just it. And that's fine. That's amazing. But I'm so glad that I was able to find the confidence to be myself, and that has brought so many kind, wonderful people from all over the city, not even just within the university, into my life and like realm of, I don't know, just existence. And I think that's really cool. And that's the experience, the safe experience of putting myself out there that I really needed in a way that worked for me. So after these 40 or so minutes, you're thinking, Erica, so junior year is over. You're a senior. What is next? How are you going to apply the lessons that you've sat here and talked ad nauseum to us about today? And that's what I'm going to tell you next. These are the things that I am taking with me to senior year and that I'm going to try. I am no longer afraid to be seen trying. I'm no longer holding back parts of myself that I think people won't like for whatever reason. This is my last chance to have this experience in this space that I'm given. And there's nothing that like, there's literally nothing that's going to stop me. Like, I'm not going to get in my own way anymore. I'm not going to let other people's perceptions or just anything, like there's no point in doing that. Nobody else is having the experience that I'm experiencing. So to suffer and be miserable just because of what other people may think, because I have no way of knowing that, that's a waste of time. And we don't have it. We got things to do. We got things to accomplish. We have a bag to secure. These are what I'm taking into senior year. In no particular order, I'm starting with this one, is that it's time for me to have fun. I've been responsible my entire academic life. I've been a highly anxious person. So I've always wanted to have control and to do my best at things so nobody would talk about me, or so I won't embarrass myself, or I won't be seen without or seen as less than. And from that experience, I know I have the skills that are going to set me up for success. I know that I'm a responsible person and that there has to be some catastrophic event that would like take those skills away from me, but that's virtually impossible to happen. So I know that I'm going to be okay. It's okay for me to have fun. It's okay for me to go out. It's okay for me to, I don't know, do things that make me laugh that might not be funny to other people. I deserve to do things that genuinely make me happy just because I do. I just deserve it. By existing in this plane, in this body, in this environment, I deserve to have fun. I do. I've been on the right path my entire life, and this is the time. This is my last hurrah. If I want to make mistakes, I can do that. If I want to, I don't know. That's the thing. I don't know. Like, I know what I enjoy, but it's time for me to discover new ways to have fun. And yeah, I know how to be responsible. I am a responsible person. So me having fun is not going to take away from that. It's just going to add to my life. So in senior year, I'm going to have fun. And if you see me having fun, girl, come join me, please. The next thing I'm taking with me is that connection is everything. And I've talked throughout this episode about how learning to talk to people and have conversations and put myself in different situations, meeting different people that I might not have met, just, living my everyday life, has really added to my experience and shown me all that there is available. But more so within connection, I want to foster the ones that I have and that I want to see grow. I want to tell people that I love them. I want to spend time with them. I want to prioritize expressing gratitude and appreciation, because that's something that makes me feel good. My top love language is words of affirmation, and that's what I like. I like words. I like writing. So I really want to focus on connections and communications and building them more so, but also discovering new ones. Why not? Let's go. Come on, sis. Let's go to brunch. So the next one I've talked about before, it's kind of a 2-in-1. It's that realizing not everything is for me, and that's okay. But it's also okay to retry and reevaluate things that I previously decided aren't for me. And I've talked about how certain things that may look fun or make me have FOMO, fear of missing out, I know when I actually do those things, I'm just uncomfortable. And that's fine. But also, in the same vein of wanting to have fun, if I think that in certain situations or environments may be better for me than previously, I'm going to give myself the space to try. And if it's still not for me, then okay, then that's a boundary that I can set and stick to make myself feel good. But I also know me as a person is highly anxious, and from that I get comfortable in what I know. I reread the same books, I rewatch the same videos and movies, I listen to the same songs. I like knowing that I know what I know. And so in my last year in this environment, I really want to just try things and maybe see if I've changed, if they've changed, and yeah, within that, still having fun and connecting. And the last thing that I have written down here that I'm taking in to senior year is the safety and knowledge that success is inevitable. I know that I have the skill set, drive, mindfulness to do well at whatever I put my effort into. I know that I'm responsible. I know that I'm smart. I know my strengths and I know my weaknesses. And that as long as I still respect myself and the boundaries I've set in place, and I fulfill my needs and take care of myself and make sure that I'm secure in who I am and I'm not tripping or getting lost in whatever, I'm going to be successful. I am going to be okay. I am going to graduate. I am going to have such great experiences, even if I have not so good ones. I'm going to get everything that I want, even if it's not in the time frame that I think I want it or should have it. I am going to do well in life. I am going to have one of the most, I don't even know the word anymore. This senior year is going to be whatever I put my mind to that day. I'm not going to police myself anymore or worry about what other people may think about what I'm doing. I know that whatever I put effort into is going to come out successfully, even if it's technically not what I wanted or a failure. Failure is not failure if you learn from it. Failure is only a true loss if you don't take anything away from the situation that helps you in another aspect of your life. So maybe I'll do something embarrassing and maybe I'll get a not so great grade on an assignment. But that doesn't mean that my entire college career or my entire year or my entire semester or my entire life is a failure. I am a success. I am successful. I have been, I am, and I will continue to be. And that's just that. It is because I say it is, and it is because I'm destined. It is because I'm worthy, and I'm worthy just because I exist. And that takes us to the end of another episode of Pages from My Notebook, a True to Life podcast. Once again, thank you so much for listening. To all my rising seniors out there, we've made it. This is the promised land. This is what we came here for. I want everyone out there entering their senior year or their last year in any capacity. If you're moving on, if you're changing seasons in your life, and you know that this is the last step in your previous season, take advantage of everything that you want to and that you can gain from in this current situation in your life. Remember that your life is what you make of it. Yes, we get into situations and there are circumstances that work to get us down, but when we know who we are and what we're destined for and what we deserve, so many more doors open. There is always a way. My mom says there's ways and there's ways. My dad says closed mouths don't get fed. If there's nobody handing you a spoon with the answers, bitch, get in the kitchen and start cooking it up. There is nothing that is going to stop you from being successful in this new stage of life. So I hope y'all stick with me through my senior year and beyond, because I'll still be podcasting, still being here, talking about self-discovery, growth, college, all sorts of shenanigans. So I hope you stick around. Thank you so much for this episode. Share it with somebody if you care. Also, follow me on TikTok at EricaB997. I'm going to start making them because I have free time and I think I'm funny. So evidently by the amount of times I sit here and laugh at myself while recording these. But yeah, thank you so much for listening, and I hope to have you listening again soon. Bye. Pages from My Notebook, a True to Life podcast, is a passion project by yours truly, Erica Barnes. Read episode descriptions and more at pagesfrommynotebookpod.com. Follow the pod on Instagram at pagesfrommynotebookpod and like the pod on Facebook at facebook.com/pagesfrommynotebookpod. You can support the pod monthly via Anchor at anchor.fm/Erica-Barnes/support. I hope to have you listening again soon.